and sit down.
What is going on, Dads? And welcome to episode 24 of the Dads After Dark Show, recorded on Sunday, November 22nd, 2020. We're your hosts, Drew and John, and thank you for joining us tonight for some Nintendo and holiday cheer. John, buddy, it's magic in the air. Thanksgiving's around the corner. Christmas will be here before we know it. And my state is shut down. We were told we are not allowed to have Thanksgiving with anybody that we do not live with. That was our governor orders. So the question is, do I break the orders or do you not break the orders?
I have been very strict. Hi, Drew. I have been very strict with lockdown since March. And yeah, we are having our in-laws over and my wife's brother, you know, like that whole pod.
Yeah.
But they've been our pod, our family pod. We haven't seen our whole family.
Correct.
That's been our pod. So I feel a little guilty about it. But at the same time, I think our governor has said to not have Thanksgiving with people that we haven't spent time with recently. So yeah.
And that's my pod too, actually. My mom and my brother and his family. So that's it.
Yeah.
Less than 10 people. So that's
good.
I think that'll be my pod, but I'll be good. But what else have you been up to? You know, how's your daughter's arm?
Oh yeah, her arm is okay. She's wearing a brace. Yeah, she jumped off of a trampoline and pretended she was a cat. Yeah, this was like a week and a half ago.
Sounds just like my daughter. That's something she would do.
Jumped right into the ground, and I thought her arm was broken, which is funny because it would have been the second time she broke her arm. And the first time she broke her arm, I was insisting to my wife that she totally did not break her arm because I was squeezing her arm, and it didn't really hurt her that much. And but then she did break her arm. And this time I was convinced, I was convinced she broke her arm. And she didn't really break her arm, but it's a buckle fracture. So technically it is breaking of an arm, but she didn't need a cast. So that was great.
Yes. Well, that's great news.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for tonight. Tonight we're doing a little something different. We'll get into it a little bit later. But I mean, new format, maybe a new little, I don't want to say, celebrity host, maybe, John?
But, well, it's not a celebrity host, but I will say stick around after our goodbyes. We've got something funny that we put together. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
What else? Anything else? Or you want to move right into some video game talk?
I have played a lot of games this week, and before we get into what we've been playing, I wanted to ask you about. Have you ever gotten like sick of gaming?
Yeah, I have. I'm actually just did a nice detox of kind of no gaming.
Well, what is a detox?
Not really playing any games. You know what? I finished up. What the hell did I end up playing? I played Pumpkin Jack. Was there another game in there that I played?
I feel like a long time ago.
Hades, Pumpkin Jack, and I think that was kind of it. And I kind of took like 2 or 3 weeks off, and it was great. I watched a lot of TV with the wife. We started watching Breaking Bad. We've never seen it. We are
so good.
We're a few episodes into season 3 already.
Oh,
we love it.
Right?
It's good. It's good. There's times it gets a little dragged out, and I don't want to say boring, but I think there's moments that make up for it. Of course, I've been watching a ton of all of The Mandalorian, and then it's the holiday season, so the kids were watching all types of fun Christmas movies. So I introduced them to Home Alone today. That was the first time they saw that. Just, enjoying it and watching a lot of TV more than I usually do, I guess you could say. But that has all changed because the video game season is upon us. But you have been doing the opposite of me detoxing, and
yeah,
you've been cheating.
I've been cheating, but let's get into what you have been playing. All right, Drew. So when last we chatted, and I'm looking at the list of games that I've played. This is like a very Tim-esque list. Maybe not as long, but this the first game on this list I was playing 2 weeks ago. I had just started playing that day, and I think I had told you I was playing one other game, but I didn't want to talk about it yet because I just started. Anyways, I did do a 30-second review on it. That game was Cardo. Was cheating on my Game Pass. This was a game that actually got announced for Switch, but it's just one of those things where it comes out on Game Pass too, and it's like, well, I'll play it for free. And this is an interesting one. Cardo was very interesting. The trailer kind of showed it as a puzzle game. You might remember this. It's like a puzzle game where you're on a map and you can move pieces of the map all around.
Oh, yes.
And that changes the world.
I saw your review on this. So
yeah. And there was like some scenes with bears and animals and stuff. So I was telling my wife, you might like this because she likes the cute games. And so I decided to play it and do a review on it. And I did have a lot of fun with it. It's, some story where you get stripped away from your granny and you have this power to move maps around. And they did really, it's definitely a puzzle game. And they did some really interesting things with it, like things I've never seen in a game before. The thing was, after like 3 or 4 stages, or I guess chapters, I was like ready for it to end. And it went 10 chapters. I think at some point they had some interesting uses of this map mechanic, but you can just, after a while, it was just getting a little bit old. And then it was one of those games by the end of it, I just wanted it to end. But overall, it's a good game. And if you like puzzle games, you'll really like it. I think a casual gamer would really enjoy it. It's not hard. There's no battling. There's no fighting. Just sometimes you have to figure out what to do and how to spin the map. And it got very meta where early in the game, you're moving the tiles around to make things happen. But like the world almost doesn't know that you're doing that and you're making things happen. Later on, you're moving the map in order to do things. And like in my review, I talk about how there's like a safe with a little, like a combination lock. And you actually have to spin the map tile to unlock it, which was like, whoa. It's like the world knows it's on a map that you're spinning,
Deception level shit there.
But it was fun. I don't know if it's...
Shorter game? Is it? I mean, it sounds like a little bit of a...
It wasn't a long game. It was under 10 hours. I would wait for a sale, but it's a good game. It's a good game. But I wouldn't pay $20 for it. Not that good. But it was fun. So, yeah. And then I did play some more Marvel Spider-Man. I 100%ed the main campaign, which was, oh my God. Like, a lot of people love this game. It's gotten a lot of acclaim. But if you're trying to be a completionist about it, they really went way overboard with the thing. There is, I just want to talk about this one part. So in Spider-Man, you're in New York, which is really cool. There's actual New York scenes. Washington Square Park is there, and it's like really cool. Like, wow, it's not exactly New York, but like certain locations, there's Radio City Music Hall you can walk right up to. It's very cool. But so they separate it out into districts, and then each district has 20 crimes that can occur. And these are like, I can't remember, but there's like bunches of different crimes. There's crimes where people are in a getaway car. There's crimes where they rob a bank. There's crimes where like kind of the military in the city that's taking over, you have to fight them. And every district has these 20 crimes, and they just sort of pop up randomly. They're not in any particular location. And oh my God, like I largely ignored them during the game because I was going through the campaign. And then I went to each district and I was trying to like do these 20 crimes. They are so repetitive. Like the same animations, the same thing. Like in this one case you come across, they're like, oh, you got to go to this intersection, and you go, and there's a car accident. And there's like every single time it's the same 3 cars that have crashed, and the same person is trapped in the driver's seat, and you have to pull the same crate out of their way. And then you have to go rescue the other person, pull them. It's like the same thing.
That's that finish. You had to finish it.
I know. Oh my God, it was so repetitive and so boring. And I spent hours doing all of them. And I did do. And then I did the first DLC, and that was really fun. And they were short, just a few hours to kind of finish it all. So I've got 2 more DLCs to go, but I kind of stopped for now. So my son is still playing, though. He's really enjoyed it. Great game. It's a great game. I'm not sure if it's worth completing, but doing all the side quests and stuff are fun. There's lots of dialogue and storyline that's new. But doing all the crimes and all that, I mean, you can unlock costumes. So I had nothing more to say about Spider-Man. Everyone knows that's a great game. How about you? I got some other games, but what have you been playing?
Well, like I said, not much. But I've been holding off for Hyrule Warriors, of course. There's Calamity, which came out Friday. I went and picked it up, so I didn't get much time in before that. But to date, I have about 11 hours in. I made it through 3 chapters.
Oh, wait, hang on a second. Does that include your demo time, or did you start it again? Continue from your demo?
I did not start it again, but that's a good question. I don't know if it counted my demo time, if it carried it over or not. It's a good point. I don't know. Okay. It's irrelevant, though. Right. So I'm through 3 chapters of the game, and I'm going to be blunt, John. When I first, and I kind of expressed this to you, I was a little like, I mean, I knew what I was getting into, right? I played the original Hyrule Warriors game, and I loved it. So I knew as far as the format of the game and the battle system, I got all of that. I think the hype for this was so high for me, and I think for everybody, that when I started playing it, I did feel a little disappointed. And maybe you know, I kept playing, and I'm still going to continue playing because I love it. It's a great game. Don't get me wrong, but I think I was disappointed with the story at first. Maybe it was a little slow moving, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I guess we kind of know the story. Let's be honest, right? I mean, we kind of know the story a little bit. So again, I don't even think I'm halfway through the game. So there's a ton of more stuff that could happen and develop. And I'm really starting now to like it a little bit more. But essentially, as you play, and again, I'm going to try really hard not to spoil anything. I'm not going to give any storylines or anything like that. But the way the game is set up, there's like 1 or 2 main missions. And as you remember, the main missions or main levels take like 30 to 45 minutes sometimes, especially if you explore the big, large map. And it's the same concept as all the other Hyrule Warriors, right? Go to your stronghold and take the base over and go over here and fight that guy and that guy. Fine. It's great. And then in between there, they have the Breath of the Wild map, right? Which I just found very, I don't know. I mean, I get it's huge, but the way they have all these little side missions set up, right? There's a few different side missions where you can just go fight, level up your characters, and it's like a 5-minute little quest. And then there's the cooking stuff. There's the level upgrades. There's so many little icons that are popping up on your map that you can go complete. And every time you move on to the next chapter, you know, and you beat it one, there's all these other icons that pop up. So I've been doing all the icons before I move on each chapter. It just seemed to me like it was kind of like a shit show mess at first. Like it was hard to really the flow. There was no flow, and I guess that's really the point of Hyrule Warriors. There really isn't, or Warriors games really in general, right? So maybe my expectation of it was just a little bit higher. The other thing that really pissed me off, and I can't remember how the other Warrior games do it, but the weapon, I hate the weapons, how they are doing them with fusing the weapons and trying to upgrade the weapons. I remember back
that's the way it was.
Was it that way? Yeah, it's so cumbersome.
You end up with 30 of them, and it's just like, oh, they're all the same. It's just a weird system to do.
I know. And then the problem is you have 10 people, right? So in between levels, you get all these weapons, and I want to go, you know, again, I want to go upgrade my weapons. So I have to go into each person separately and use the weapons. It's just like it's a pain in the butt. Like I dread doing it almost, you know?
Yeah.
So that stuff blows. I mean, the actual gameplay, it's exactly what everybody needs. It's just the hack and slash, mindless fun game I love even doing the little bit of, exploring where you can find the Torot seeds and you find a chest off the beaten path and stuff like that. It is fun. It's a great game. And the story's really starting to pick up a little bit more now. But again, 3 chapters in and it's like, okay, like, I don't know. I guess I'm maybe waiting for a surprise, but at the same time, in the back of my mind, I'm like, we know the story. There's no big surprise.
Yeah. When
But
I
it's
think
fun.
of when I think of playing it, my body gets physically tired. And it's like because you played Hyrule Warriors, but like yeah, you're doing that again. There's a lot of
Yeah.
just repetition in the game, especially if you want to like level up a character. Because you can
Yeah.
like pay money, right? I don't know if they still have the same way where
Yep,
you can
they
pay
do.
money
They
to
do.
upgrade someone. But it's like there's so much repetition to it, and you're like, I'm gonna go into this level again. And they take like 30 minutes, and it's like,
They do.
here I go.
They do.
Yeah.
I'm going to be curious to see if and what end game content is, and if there's a what's the motivation to continue playing after you beat the story mode. That I will be interested to see, because right now I don't know. I don't really see or understand exactly.
I know one guy who was playing Fire Emblem Warriors for like a couple of years after it came out, and I was like, I loved that game, but like, what keeps you playing? And he's like, I'm trying to level up everybody to max level, and it's like, why? I know.
Why?
And I love that game, so it's like, yeah, I'm curious with this one. I noticed in the demo, like you said, the things pop up and there's these other things to do, which seems very different from Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, yeah, like this could help to level you up or do something, or maybe just give you some variety of gameplay. But what is the motivation to do all of these things, considering every level is just full of repetition?
Again, I haven't played Hyrule Warriors since Wii U days, so I'm really trying to think back. But one feature that they have, which I don't remember them having, which I like, is if you're in one of the large maps and you have like 3 or 4 characters in that level where you can switch between them, now if you pause it, you can order that character to go to a destination. Again, I don't remember if they had that.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, you had that.
Yeah, so that helps. I think that I did the demo. I didn't really realize that. I guess maybe I didn't really explore that feature. So that helps it, definitely increase. Reduces the time in the level. Really,
it makes you more of like a strategist. You send somebody here, you send somebody there. I think that was a better system in Fire Emblem Warriors.
Okay,
that's why I loved Fire Emblem Warriors, was like directing people and strategizing, and that I actually love the characters in Fire Emblem Warriors better because I just love Fire Emblem. But in this game, because I think we are closer to the characters, especially after playing Breath of the Wild, it's like sending people over, and you want to send people over and try to like get them to level up as well. So, yeah, I'm curious. I have not started this game yet. We were thinking we might be talking about it together, but I did buy it today, and I'm going to be starting it. I would have started it tonight, but probably start it tomorrow.
Like I said, overall, I'm still enjoying the game. I think my hype level was more the Breath of the Wild and just trying to forget in that, wait a minute, this is a Hyrule Warriors game, which is fun. Don't get me wrong. They're lots of fun. But the level designs have been great. Which I really, really enjoy, which, I enjoy exploring the different levels and really, that's it. I mean, it's good. It is what it is. If I had to give it a grade so far, I know it's probably not fair because I've only played less than half, but so far I would say that's like 6.5 to 7, maybe a 7, solid 7. And, maybe that will change going up or down 2 weeks from now on our next show. I'll let you know.
I expect you to have it done by next episode.
I think I'll be done with the main story. I just don't know what else will be going on with it. But what about you? You've been playing other games as well.
Yeah, I did finish up Pikmin. I had started. I went a week without playing Pikmin, and I never go a week. I think I went a week without playing my Switch. And I think because I was really excited to play Pikmin and I was really enjoying Pikmin, but I had played through it on Wii U, so it was like a second time, but. I really wanted to play through it and do all the extra content and get all the fruits and be more completionist about it. And the other day I got all the fruits before I went and fought the boss. I actually didn't even know I was coming up on the boss. I just did what one of your things is I had all of the different types of Pikmin, and there's a bunch of fruit you can't get until you have like the water Pikmin or the flying Pikmin. So once I had them all, I was like, okay, cool. Let me just get all the fruits before I continue. I had Oh no, you don't play Pikmin, but in Pikmin, when you get fruit, it turns into juice, and then you need to use a juice to play another day. So if you run out of juice, your game is over.
Like over?
Over.
But you can reload a save state.
Well, I've never run out of juice. It's not something that will happen unless you're just like completely wasting your time. If you play a day and you get the fruit that you should be able to get, you won't have any problem. And by the end of the game, I had 60 juices. So I could have played 60 days and done nothing. But I mean, if you try to get all the fruit, you're going to end up with tons and tons of juices.
How long's a day in the game?
Oh, how long's a day? About 15 to 20 minutes, I guess. And then you do a lot of pausing in the game too. You can like bring up your map and then send people to locations, or just look at the map and see where the fruit is. That pauses your day. You usually about 25 minutes per day.
Interesting.
And sometimes you'll do a day where you'll go to a location only because there's one fruit you haven't gotten, and then you get the fruit, and then you can just end your day. So you can cut it short a little bit. That's it. I really enjoyed it. Second time through, I really didn't remember much from the first time I played. I got all the fruit, but I didn't do any of the extra content yet, but I will go back to it. I've heard the extra content is not that long, like an hour or something like that. So I'm going to do the extra content. And then, I really enjoyed it. I definitely recommend it. I still feel like you should play it.
No
it's a good time. So, I'll come back to that.
Which is weird. I like real-time strategy games.
It's just so unique and versus other real-time strategy games where like maybe you don't get connected with your characters. Like you get very protective of your Pikmin. You know, when they get eaten, you feel it. You're like, I let them down. As a parent, it's like how you feel. It's like I let my Pikmin down. They got eaten by that bug. But in the end, when I was fighting the final boss, I won't spoil it too much, but the final boss is not a character you fight in a day. You will like advance in the final boss stage, and then the day will end. And I would just let the day end because I didn't feel like running out. So I had mass casualties, and it took me like 6 game days to finally beat the final boss. And I was playing in hard mode. And at the end of the game, I realized, I was playing in hard mode. No wonder that battle was so hard, or harder than I remember. And then my friend reminded me that hard mode in this game is normal mode from the Wii U game. They just made an easy mode for this game, which is
so you were on normal.
So I was essentially playing Wii U's normal mode. So, okay.
Huh. And you weren't on hard mode then.
Yeah. So I would recommend if anybody plays Pikmin, just put it in hard mode. It's not that hard. Obviously, it's the normal mode. But give yourself some challenge. It's really not that hard. It's not, so I think normal mode would end up feeling a little too easy. So
interesting.
And then the last game that I played, oddly enough, started this yesterday and finished it today, is Bastion. I finally played Bastion.
Also sounds dirty.
Yes. Obviously, I loved Transistor. I loved Hades. It's one of the games of the year. And this is another game from Supergiant Games. It was actually their first game. It came out in 2011. But it got a port to Switch, I think, a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. And that must have been when you grabbed it, because we realized you had played it too.
Yeah, I forgot all about it. It was I had to go into my deep archive to find that sucker.
Yeah, so I played it because it's Supergiant Games, and I had bought it on sale for like $3. So I was like, I want to play through this one and see.
It's a good deal. I think I paid more than that.
Yeah, I bought this with Transistor, and Transistor is going to be one of my favorite games. But this game is very much like Transistor. It definitely had some elements of Hades in it. And I did that's
what they say with Hades, right? There was. He says that he actually took all of their games and kind of based Hades around that.
Yes. Yeah, because in Bastion, you can use a whole bunch of different kinds of weapons.
Mm-hmm.
And the fun thing about Bastion is just a regular action RPG with levels. I didn't find the story or anything particularly engaging.
It's like bird's eye view, right, though?
It is like a isometric.
Yeah.
And it had a really
Example,
interesting, like a mechanic where as you walked, the world sort of like floated up to you,
Correct.
which
It was
was
weird.
it's more artistic than anything. But what it does is you might not know which way to go. You actually have to walk in a direction to see if the floor comes up to you. So it kind of made it like if the floor was already there, it would be very easy to see the directions to go. So you kind of had to like move around a little bit and go, oh, look, I can go this way now.
Mhm.
And it definitely had the thing about the game I didn't like was that I had no idea what I had to do or when the game was going to end. The story was really strange. And you're just like, oh, here's the last core. And you're like, okay, but I know this isn't the end of the game. And then it's like, okay, now you have to do this. And it's like, okay. And then you're just doing that, doing that. You have no idea how many more levels there are. And then
Mhm.
even the ending was like kind of weird. And just like Transistor, there's like no final boss. Like the game ends and you're like, oh, it's over. Okay.
Yeah.
But Transistor had this beautiful art style and this beautiful story that was much simpler. And it has the same thing where there's a narrator talking. Remember in Bastion when there's like a narrator like narrating every move. It's as if in real life somebody was narrating you as you went about your day.
Yep.
And Transistor has that, but it wasn't so much. It was more somebody talking to you. In this game, it was like this guy does not shut up. He's
Yeah, I remember
constantly
that.
talking. But like as I got closer to the end, you start getting these new weapons, and the weapons are just so cool. And you're like, oh, like there's this one weapon that's like a mortar shell, and you just launch it, and it just like, and you can upgrade it or whatever. And you're thinking this is the coolest weapon in the game. And then you get like an arm cannon, and then you just keep getting weapons that are like, whoa, whoa. So I did have fun with it. But yeah, it's just playing that one after Hades and Transistor was not a great idea. So if you were going to play all three of the games, and there is a fourth Supergiant game, but it's not on Switch, play them in order because once you play Transistor, it's hard to go back to Bastion. But it's good. It was good. So I finished all these Switch Supergiant games. Very excited. So that's all I played. That's it.
Nice. We
Yeah.
did have a little family night before the show tonight. We played some Mario Kart and Clubhouse games. Listen to this story, John. I'm an idiot. So the kids, we played Mario Kart. My son was getting a little frustrated. He's 4. He came in like last place twice in a row, so he was mad. So then they wanted to play Clubhouse games. So I said, all right, let me go get it. So I go up to my office to grab where all my Switch games are. And I'm like, where the hell is it? I can't find Clubhouse games. I was like, I pretty organized. So I went downstairs. There's one other spot I have like in my closet where I keep downstairs, like, extra controllers and stuff like that. But it's not there. Let me go back upstairs one more time. I said, I don't know where it is. Guys, we can't play. I have no idea. I would never sell this game. I don't know where it is. So we're going back to play Mario Kart. And then I said, John, I'm a fucking idiot. I bought it digitally. So we thought of it, and then we ended up playing some Clubhouse games.
And it's a great game to have digitally just for those reasons.
I know, and it's a great game to watch a 4 and 6-year-old play each other in. It's epic. So that was good. It was a lot of fun.
Nice. Love it.
That's it. That's it for me.
Cool. Well, like we talked about, we have a format change we're going with. If you've listened to past episodes, we usually have a news section, which is actually relatively new. We've done, the early days we would do 2 topics, then we ended up on 1 topic, and I think the problem we ran into, Drew, is we tried to find a meaty topic that could last 20 to 30 minutes, and that is not easy to do, even every 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. But we always had little topics we wanted to talk about. And let's kick this off, Drew, with our new top 10.
Number 10.
First thing we want to talk about here is the Game of the Year awards being announced. I know you're not clued into this because sometimes a lot of these games are not Nintendo. But here, let me throw these at you. These are the Game of the Year nominees. And it is Last of Us 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Final Fantasy VII Remake. All 3 of those, by the way, are PS4 exclusives. Doom Eternal, Animal Crossing, and Hades. Hades. Everyone talked about Hades being on the list. We've talked about it being Game of the Year. How cool is it that Hades made the top 6?
Hey, I'm just happy that I played, I think every game that I'm eligible to play with based on my system, right? I mean, Doom Eternal's not out, right? Or am I thinking of the other one?
Not yet. No, we're still waiting on that.
Still waiting on that, right? So Hades and Animal Crossing are the only 2 Nintendo-ish games, you should say, and I played both of them. Proud of myself on that part.
Good job.
Yeah, it's interesting, Animal Crossing, that it's there. I mean, I'm happy it's there. It's it's great to see it there. I don't know. That's a weird one.
Who do you think's gonna win? I mean, like,
I don't know enough about the other ones. I've heard lots of good things about Last of Us. But again, I haven't played them. I don't know a ton about them. I mean, Final Fantasy Remake. I get Final Fantasy VII is a all-time classic for a lot of people, but I can't imagine the remake. And again, I don't know if they added any new features or anything to the game.
It's a totally different game, though. Okay, it really is. Okay. It's not even the whole game. I mean, it's just like the first part of the original Final Fantasy because it's going to be episodic.
So let's answer the big question here. Hades is obviously the oddball of these games.
Yep.
Meaning by it's very small, smaller developer when you look at these other games, right?
Yeah.
Does it have a chance?
I think it has a chance. I don't think it will win. I don't think it deserves to win. There was a moment when we were playing Hades where I was like, this is my new game of the year. But I'll tell you what, like, I don't think Doom Eternal belongs on this list. I think Doom really changed the game, like the more recent Doom. Doom Eternal to me is just like another version of Doom. I don't think it belongs here. I really wanted to see Ori and the Will of the Wisps. I feel like that was the only snub. I agree with everything on this list, even though I haven't played a few of them. But I feel like Ori deserved to be on this list. I don't think Doom. So the one game I think that does not deserve to win this is Doom Eternal. I think any other game can win. I actually am hoping Animal Crossing wins because I think in 2020, when we think back to the game of the year 2020, everyone's going to remember Animal Crossing came out in 2020 because everybody was in lockdown playing it.
But on that note, and I know a lot of people have talked about this, but without the lockdown, is Animal Crossing where it is today?
Doesn't matter.
I'm not disagreeing. It doesn't matter. The point is, we're here. It happened.
I don't think we need to answer that question, but I think that there were months in this year where everybody was playing Animal Crossing together, I think that's what makes it the game of the year. And
I think it. I'm glad it happened the way it did. Because let's be honest, Animal Crossing, I picked it up. I'm not saying I wouldn't have picked it up. I can't say yes or no to that question, but I can definitely tell you I probably wouldn't have put 150 hours into this game if we didn't have a pandemic.
Right.
I might have put like 75 hours in or something, which is a lot for me in any game. But yeah, I was playing this game nonstop. I was 9 o'clock. The shops opened, whatever the hell time they opened. Yeah. I was on there. I was doing it. So I agree. The turnip puzzle. That's right. It definitely changed people that play the game who don't typically play games that way. I agree.
Exactly.
Which I think, pandemic or not, that's a game of the year contender for that reason.
Oh yeah. I mean, clearly it is literally a contender. I think the other thing about Animal Crossing 2 is that not only everybody was playing it, we saw a talk show being hosted in Animal Crossing. We saw a presidential campaign. Campaigning with Animal Crossing assets. So there was just so much. Remember that video too the Detroit Lions put out to announce their schedule?
Yes.
And they did it with Animal Crossing. I just think we talked about this a couple episodes ago or I know we asked the dads, what makes a game of the year candidate a game of the year candidate? And I just feel like there's something about 2020. Animal Crossing deserves this. I don't want to see it go to a fancy Final Fantasy or whatever. I think Last of Us 2 is probably going to win. But I think Animal Crossing can win, and I really want to see that one win. But these are all, this is a great list, except for Doom Eternal. Ori is my game of the year. Granted, I'm saying Animal Crossing should be, but I'm just saying is my personal game of the year. Just for me, I'm not giving out an industry award. My game of the year was Ori, Will and the Wisps, and it's not even on this list, so that kind of upsets me. But I think it's awesome that Hades made that. That's great. It's awesome.
It is.
Number 9.
Okay, next we got some questions here. We got a couple questions that were both very similar.
Yeah, we had to merge them a little bit.
We'll merge them a little bit. Let's start off with the first one. This is from Togobat. Togobat. I'm not even sure how he pronounces it.
Togobat.
When it comes to Thanksgiving, do you prefer pie or strudel?
Pie, 100%, no questions asked.
Now, I have a question to ask. Has anybody made a strudel?
That is a great point. I think of strudel like more of a breakfast item.
Yeah.
No? Where pie is more of a dessert.
Yes.
Right?
I will admit I had to Google strudel because I was like, I know I've heard of it, but like what exactly? And it's like, yeah, that's like something I buy in a store. I never
with like
had a
that
family member
icing,
make
like
it.
the white icing on it, right?
Yeah.
That's like a nice, an apple strudel versus like an apple pie.
Right. But I've never had my grandma make me a strudel. Like they'll make me pie.
Pie. What's your
favorite
preference?
kind of pie though?
Oh, mine apple.
Yeah, I think apple pie is
vanilla ice cream on there. Ooh.
It's always apple pie or chocolate pudding pie, right? They're very different. Any other fruits that I don't like cherry pie at all.
No.
I'm trying to think of other pies.
Apple pie.
Key lime.
I feel like when you get like the fruit pies, it's just too much of a fruit overload.
Exactly.
Yeah. Apple just works with the cinnamon and the.
Yeah.
Good question though.
Okay. And then the other question, this one comes from John Bassey 5. That's Hambone Johnny. When it comes to reading the other question, what's your favorite Thanksgiving dish to eat?
Good question.
What's your take on flannel sheets? And what's one Nintendo character you'd like to meet? This is all over the place. Throwing it all over the place.
I think he's saying, what do you like to eat?
Mm-hmm.
Then you want to get into your flannel sheet bed with which character? That's the way I read that. I think that's like the sequential order of Thanksgiving afternoon.
Clearly Wario. Yeah.
So hear me out here. Stuffing. And let me tell you why. One, don't get me wrong. Turkey, Thanksgiving, everybody eats it. Turkey's not that great, guys. It's kind of dry. It's, people say, leftover turkey sandwich. It's just, All the other sides, like, you got your mashed potatoes. I mean, sweet potatoes are pretty good. Carrots. A lot of that stuff I have maybe throughout the year. Maybe not sweet potato or stuff like that. But, you always have mashed potatoes for dinner sometimes, or carrots or corn. But stuffing. I mean, how many people made stuffing as a random side? I don't want to make chicken tonight. You want to have stuffing on the side?
I do. Stovetop disagrees with you.
But I typically don't.
But you have to remember that the Thanksgiving meal is all of this together. It's the turkey and the stuffing and the mashed potatoes and the broccoli and the carrot or whatever, sweet potatoes or whatever you do, all together in one. Because if you make that meal during the year, people say, "Ooh, we're having Thanksgiving in July" or something like that. It's
you can't just make a turkey with mashed potatoes. You need to have all the other stuff.
Exactly. Yes.
I hear you. So wait, what's your favorite?
So I'm gonna say my favorite is gravy. Because when I think about a Thanksgiving meal, when I think about Thanksgiving, it said, what's your favorite Thanksgiving dish to eat?
Just gravy.
Well, I'm just going to say it's because you said turkey's pretty dry. When I think of having turkey, I'm thinking of the turkey with the gravy on it, a good gravy.
I agree.
The mashed potatoes with the gravy. If there was no gravy in a Thanksgiving meal, I'm out.
Even my stuffing, gravy, you'd need it.
You need gravy on everything, on your apple pie.
Do you make the gravy from scratch with the turkey juice?
Yes.
Or do you buy it in the jar?
No. Yeah, you make it from scratch with flour, right? That sort of thing.
It's a science. You add a little bit of flour, you stir a little bit of flour. Oh, yeah.
I always forget it when I cook the turkey. I always forget it. I pull the turkey out and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot, I don't have the recipe ready. I haven't been thinking about it or prepping for it. And I'm grabbing pots and flour and looking up recipes on my phone. Yeah. Gravy, man. Let's give it.
Maybe.
What's your take on flannel sheets? Do you have a take?
I don't have flannel sheets. Do you have flannel sheets?
It sounds like Togobap's wife changed the sheets.
And he's not happy
my
about
wife
it.
does that too. She'll change, like she hasn't done it yet, but she'll change to flannel sheets.
Really? It's that time, like a date, like you don't know it, but like December 11th is
When it
flannel
starts
sheet
getting
day.
cold. Yeah.
So
Yeah, they're a little warmer. I like
I mean,
flannel sheets.
you're in the mountains.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you're a fan. Don't you get sweaty?
No, because it's usually just when it's cold and then you take them off. So, I mean, I usually don't sleep with the sheets on me all that often, but yeah,
Oh,
you know,
what does that mean?
it's
You
almost
don't
like the
sleep with-
flannel sheets are like, oh, it's the season again. You know, it's like they're very much associated with Christmas.
Are you the traditional like red and black flannel sheets?
I think so. I think we have like a bear and pine tree flannel sheets.
I mean, I'm kind of a little jealous. I'm gonna ask the wife now to get me some flannel sheets. I just feel like I'd be sweating my balls off.
It depends how cold it is. Or it depends how good your heating is.
I mean, my heating's very efficient.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
All right,
they're
third
good.
part question here.
What's one Nintendo character you'd like to meet? Only one.
I mean, this is a no-brainer.
Weird
I've
question.
said it multiple times in the show. I want to take this character with me into the flannel sheets. Of course, it's the Wii Fit trainer. Done deal. Female, of
Yeah.
course.
It's gotta be. You don't have the male.
just want to make sure that's clear.
Like you don't really get a good look at the Wii Fit trainer, and you just drag them into the sheets, and then you hear, do the squats, and you're like, no. I'll agree with you. I think Wii Fit trainer would be fun to talk about. Like fitness people are usually very bubbly, and we really don't know much about her, so we should get to know her. And I'm not gonna I don't want to meet Wario or
They probably don't even speak English.
yeah.
You know?
They speak. No, they speak. You don't really see them talk though. It's been a long time since we had a Wii Fit game. I'm not sure we'll get one again.
Nah, we never will.
Yeah, they didn't do in like the fitness boxing. The fitness boxing game just came out, the new one. But
She's kind of that's not her though. She's not in there.
there's different characters in that one too. You choose different characters. Some of them
I
are
wish
like
she had a name.
they do have. Oh, Wii Fit trainer,
She needs a name. I mean, it's kind of insulting.
like Martha.
I mean, that's not what I would go with. I would go. It doesn't sound dirty enough.
Not dirty enough. All right.
dirty
Well,
enough.
like Piper.
Piper.
I don't know. What's
Maybe
a good dirty
like
name?
I don't know. You just have to name off like flowers or bushes or something weird like that. You know?
Twiggy? Flowers or bushes? I don't know.
Is that what do they say? What do the porn people name after? Like
They're like named after mountaintops.
that's what you call the feature of
Like
the
Misty Peaks.
Misty. See, Misty.
Misty.
All right. So we both agree on we fit trainer in our flannels. All right.
Nice.
Number 8.
All right. So this one here, John, is just kind of a little bit of looking into the future. What is your December game of choice? Because December is like the ultimate video gaming month in my eyes, right? I know my work actually shuts down for 2 weeks. So we don't go to work at all. And I mean, what else do you do besides video games? So what is your big game that you're excited for to play in this December?
Well, I was thinking of passing on Age of Calamity, but I think I'm dragged in now. I really want to play the Fire Emblem game that comes out December 4th. That's the OG Fire Emblem game. I think it's going to be hard as shit because it's 30 years old. And there's so many niceties that Fire Emblem has added over the years, especially the one where it kind of tells you, hey, if you fight this guy, this is probably what's going to happen. But I'm going to play through it. The one thing that bugs me about the game is that you can just rewind the game. It's just got the same sort of rewind feature that the online stuff has. And it just feels like I'm going to abuse the bejesus out of the thing. So I don't know how I'm going to play where I just forbid myself or I let myself do it like a few times. But yeah, no, I'm really excited for that. I'm still trying to find the special edition. I don't know if I'll be able to. So that one, and then Phoenix Rising. I feel like if Age of Calamity, if I feel like I don't want to like try to complete that game after I roll credits, I might jump into Phoenix Rising. I'm just sitting back, and I want to see what the performance on the Switch is like. I'm really interested in that because that's a game I could play on another console. But the thing is, Drew, I won't play it on another console because I don't want to sit there and play a 60, 70-hour game. I don't know how long that one's going to be.
Yep.
On a console, I have other games I want to play. I want to play Last of Us 2. So I will only play that game on the Switch, but I don't want to play it if it's going to be a little janky. So I'm waiting to hear on that one.
So picky.
I am picky. But what are you going to play?
Phoenix Rising definitely has my interest. You know that. It's had my interest for a long time. But I made the mistake, or maybe it wasn't a mistake, I don't know yet, of telling my mother-in-law to buy it for me for Christmas. Because I figured it's why not? $60 item rather than her getting me some shit that I don't need. I said, I want this game. I'm going to buy this game regardless. So buy this game for me. The problem then comes in line. And I'm thinking to myself, well, Hyrule Warriors could be like a 100-hour game. But now that I'm playing it, I'm thinking, shit, I'm going to be fucked. I'm going to have like a couple weeks and I'm going to be home from work with not work and I'm going to have nothing to play.
Yep.
So now I'm a little concerned, John, what I'm going to do from like probably that second week in December to Christmas.
That's the thing. Once you commit to the Christmas list.
I know.
That's a big commitment.
I know. So I don't know. So keep that in mind. What should I play if I get stuck? Like maybe a good 20-hour game or something. But we'll see. Hey, maybe we'll play
something
Diablo.
You go back to.
Maybe we'll play Diablo together.
Oh man, I've totally given up on. I kept waiting for forever. Seasons to start. Yeah, I go, season 24 is coming up. I'm gonna start it.
Minecraft Dungeons is crossplay now.
No.
Yes. I'm gonna tell your son. I'm gonna tell Michelle to tell your son to tell you to let's play Minecraft.
Oh my god, I don't even want to get the DLC for that game. I can't play the levels over and over and over again. I just can't. It is not.
They're long too.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Alrighty, December game.
All right,
keep me in mind.
Okay.
Number 7.
I've got a question for you, Drew. Have you noticed in the Discord people are talking about Google Stadia a lot more? Have you seen this?
Yes and no, John. Because one, I mute that channel.
Yeah.
And the Nintendo, because that's cheating, right? It's just like if I were to look at gay porn, it's not for me, So why do it?
Yeah, but I feel like we should. Dan's been talking about it a lot. We should call up Dan.
Let's call him. Let's call Dan now on the spot.
Let's call up Dan and see.
Just got it, right? He just bought it for himself.
Dan's been really into it, and let's just see if he's around here, and then we'll just ask him.
Hey, look, there he
Dan.
is.
Why is that guy on here?
Hey, you listen here.
Hey, Dan, we had a question for you.
Okay.
Everybody's been talking about Google Stadia, it seems like, lately.
Yes.
And you are the biggest offender of them all. What happened? We have spent months making fun of Google Stadia. You probably included. We're going to go look at history. And all of a sudden, you're playing Google Stadia. Tim's playing Google Stadia.
Justin just jumped on.
Justin is... Wait.
He just friended me like yesterday.
Oh, you... Justin?
Yeah.
Justin
Masson.
Guys,
the Justin. The moose himself.
He just did a podcast where he said he only has the Nintendo Switch. And now, a day later, he's got Stadia.
He jumped on the Cyberpunk promo. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got Stadia prior to Cyberpunk. You got Stadia. There was some discount. What dragged you into Stadia?
Okay, so if you are a YouTube Premium subscriber, back at the beginning of November, you basically Google would give you a free controller and Chromecast to play Stadia for free. It's $100 bundle, and they just gave it to you for free. If prior to November 6th you were already a YouTube Premium subscriber, so you couldn't like join up and then get the bundle. You had to like already be bought it.
So they're like giving it away essentially.
Yes.
They're like, please play our system.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Hey,
I mean, and I don't blame them because they weren't, there wasn't a whole lot of user base before that, so they had to do something.
Right. And you don't buy a console, right? You just basically buy the controller. Do you even need to buy the controller?
You don't need to buy anything. You can, you buy the games, right? So the service is free. You can get on and create an account and just look at what they have. You can subscribe to their Pro thing, which is basically like a Game Pass type service. Actually, it's more like a PlayStation Plus because you keep the games. It's not like the games go away. You keep the games in the cloud, and you can play them in 2 years. When they take those games away, you can still play them. Okay. They have that for $10 a month, or you can spend $60 on Cyberpunk or whatever.
I see. And so if you wanted to, you can create an account, not buy a controller. You're not buying a console, and then you can just buy whatever game you want. It's kind of like Steam, right? Where you can just subscribe, don't pay anything, or you can pay, what is it, like $10 a month for the premium service? Mm-hmm. Okay, and then you do get a set of like free games, things that you could play, right? Because I heard that there was like some, besides the ones you get to keep every month, there's some other games you can play as well.
Right now, they do promotional stuff. Right now, you can play Destiny 2 for free. Anybody can. You can log on right now and play Destiny 2 with a Bluetooth controller. Yeah.
Right.
If you have good internet.
So we've been hearing about Google Stadia because like Phoenix, who's not, I don't think he's in the Discord, but he's, in the dads community. Mm-hmm. He's been replying about Stadia. It just feels like everybody's like talking about Stadia and like interesting. And I wonder how much, what's funny is because that the Switch did the cloud version of Control. And it's almost like since then, everyone's like now has a license to do the cloud. And you're like, okay, this wasn't, because I think, Dan, you had mentioned that Control didn't play all that well for you at your house.
No, it did not.
Right.
Yeah. And even I have to drop my Stadia feed to like 720p or less to get it to run at my house because my internet is not very good. Right. But the difference with Stadia is the controller is not, if you get their controller, it's not connected to your computer at all. It's connected to the cloud through Wi-Fi. Okay. And so the difference there is I never lost control of what was happening. Like feed would drop and it would say like your feed will be back in a minute or whatever, or 10. Usually it was like 5 seconds, and then it would come back and you'd be able to play again. But I never lost control of what I was doing, which was a huge turnoff for me playing Control on the Switch. So that was also what sold me on Stadia.
So Dan, explain that to me. Do you mean like almost like lagged? It would never lag. It would just lose connection. It would say
the worst lag is that feels like you're playing on a TV that's not optimized for games at its worst, which blows my mind. Still blows my mind.
Interesting.
So there you go, John. Everyone's getting it because they were giving it away.
Well, that's the thing. And it was really smart of them to do that because everybody's talking about next gen right now. True. And how you can't go into a store and buy a PS4 or an Xbox, but hey, you could pre-order Cyberpunk and get a free controller and give that a try. So it was really smart of them timing wise, I think, because it's something you can do right now and not have to wait outside of Walmart with a mask on for 2 hours to see if you'll get one. So
And they essentially are just giving away the controller, right? Were they giving away that Game Pass service too?
I got 3 months of Pro for free. Yeah.
Okay.
With it's like it's called the premium. It's called the Premier bundle. You get a white controller and a Chromecast and 3 months of Pro.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for them, if you buy a handful of games, they'll probably kind of make their money back, and that's what they're kind of looking at is like give it away more. You know, and
it seems like they're playing a very long game. because this is going to be, they have to be, because there's no short-term gains for them at all.
Right.
I mean, it just seems like they're just like most console manufacturers now, they lose money on the console hoping that you'll pick up, what works. And they've been really good lately as far as like I've been on the subreddit. And the community's been saying that lately they've been on a roll with adding promised features like one after another pretty consistently. So we're all kind of hoping that Stadia is going to hit a stride and the community is going to grow, and it'll be something that publishers will want to develop for, because they do have to develop a specific like Stadia version, which makes things a little complicated for Google.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's a very interesting.
It's not, you're not just running like the PC version of it. They have to like optimize it and everything.
Huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have one more question for you, Dan. Like,
okay.
Do you find like you are now venturing into the Stadia world? I can feel you.
Yeah.
Connecting with the community now. Now you're Stadia. Like, I don't know, Drew, you haven't seen this, but like somebody will mention Cyberpunk and you're like, Dan's like, hey, Cyberpunk coming to Stadia. You don't need a controller. If you got YouTube Premium, you get it for free. He's like totally bought in. Does your mindset have to change now? Because like, we talk about we've been talking about for years digital gaming and not having that ownership. Mm-hmm. Now with cloud, that's just way worse. Like you have nothing except for a bit.
It's way worse. If Stadia goes away tomorrow, the controller is useless. I don't have anything.
Right.
So
it's all gone.
The only way that my mindset has changed is this: like as a collector, I'll get physical Switch game if it's available, because it's Nintendo and that's like where my heart is. I'm not gonna go buy an Xbox Series X to play Cyberpunk. I'm just not. And Cyberpunk isn't a game that's going to like increase in value as it sits on my shelf. They're going to discount it like they did with every other, AAA game on, and it's not going to be worth anything. So the value I'm going to get out of Cyberpunk, if I get it, is going to be playing it for a couple hours and having a great time. So that's kind of where my head went. I was like, okay, I don't have to own this. It's not like going to be worth anything to sell later. And if I get the value out of it from spending the money on it, then I feel like it was worth it. So I'm not giving up on, I'm not going all digital all of a sudden. I'm not going to sacrifice my whole podcast and brand because now I'm a digital guy. It's interesting, and I want to pursue what it's like to have that kind of a library. Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. I think you're right. It is a good little offset to it. I mean, a $500 system to play one or two games, maybe at most. But I'm glad you're just not leaving the Switch. We don't want you to go.
No way.
Yeah.
That's not baby. I'm gonna let you guys go now. I've been on long enough with you.
Hey, Dan, before you go, why don't you tell everybody about your new little podcast you're going on?
Oh, sure. Great. Thanks. So it's called Retro Logic, and it's on all the podcast things. And if it's not on your podcast thing, then let me know and I'll find a way to do it. And it is all retro focused. So collecting and playing, and we do a bunch of different segments where we talk about games we're playing, and we do trivia games. Like we do one called The Price is Retro, where we give you like a list of 5 games and you have to guess what the lot is worth based on price charting. And that's really fun because Nick Metzger was actually on last week, and he holds the record for the worst guess. He was down by like $500 or $600. It was pretty bad. That's awesome. That's really fun, and everybody, you guys can play along as you listen. And I'm on Twitter as at Blockfort Retro if you want to get like the feed and know what's going to be in the episode and when it's coming up. I'm actually doing giveaways and stuff too all the time, so you can check that out. And so give it a listen. And I'll see you there.
Awesome.
Thanks for jumping on with us, Dan.
Peace. Bye, guys.
Later, bro. I just want to say, as Dan leaves, I didn't want to put him on the spot here, but on Dad Crossing, he was talking about his podcast. And he mentioned, it's like, oh, yeah, it's really good. I mean, like our first couple episodes were bad. Yeah. I was on the first couple episodes, Drew. It really hurt. It stung. Mm-hmm. It just was a dagger. Mm-hmm. And I know when he says they were bad, he just means he was bad and I was great.
Or does he mean that?
Well,
you don't know that.
I don't have the opportunity to ask him. We conveniently let him go before I asked him.
Number 6.
All right, so we have another question for the podcast here from Michael PJP. This is Dad's After Dark as you get here. So the question is, John, I'm going to let you answer this one first. Do you have any sexual or romantic regrets? Be it maybe the one that got away, maybe a threesome you were too drunk to remember, or whatever. Spill the beans.
Wow, Michael. I
mean,
feel like Michael has a bunch of these.
Wow. I'm gonna let you go ahead and handle this one.
That's a tough one. I will say one story I have was I was a nice guy. You know me, Drew. I'm a nice guy.
You are a nice guy.
And so quick story. I was just doing online dating, and this is before I met my wife. So this was about like 2001, I guess. I spent my entire life. I didn't date through high school. I didn't date until I got into college because I was just a shy introvert that played video games. Or you
were a player and you don't want to tell anybody.
Holding off. So I didn't go on my first date until I was a sophomore in college. And then I had a long relationship that lasted till after college. So around 2001 is when I was really started the dating scene. And I have a few bad date stories, good date stories, whatever. But there was this one girl. It was on a dating site, and you know how they always say your picture is kind of not accurate to what you look like or whatever.
Oh yeah.
So she had kind of a cute picture, nothing that blew me away or anything, but she had kind of a cute picture, and she's from Nebraska or whatever like that, but she lived in Colorado. And so somewhere along the way, I went over to her place to meet her. I can't even remember if it was a date. I was coming over there to meet her. I don't remember us having any sorts of plans.
Okay.
And she answers the door, and I go, "Hi, I'm looking for," and I can't remember her name. So let's just say Christy. I'm looking for Christy. She goes, "Hey," or whatever. And then she's like, so she's walking away from the door or whatever. And I swear to God, I thought she was going to get Christy. Drew, she was Christy. And it was so very awkward. I can't even, as I say the story now, I don't even know how we got in that situation, because I would have said something like, "Oh, hi, I'm looking for Christy." Why didn't she say, "I am Christy"? So anyways, so this girl, she had some problems. She had some depression issues or whatever. I mean, people go through that stuff. I'm not insulting her with it at all.
Something else. Okay.
Yeah, no.
I didn't mean to laugh at that.
So anyway, yeah, Drew, you heartless bastard.
She said she has some problems, and then you kind of left that open-ended.
I know.
To comment.
So she worked at a fast food place, and so she got off work at 11. And so I went over to her place to meet her, but it was late or whatever. I don't remember what happened that night.
The stranger's house at midnight.
Yes.
And you're not even sure what she looks like.
I don't know what she looked like.
This is your first time you've ever dated. This is
her. No. This is not my first date or anything.
Okay.
This was in my short 6-month heyday of meeting various women on dates. And but yeah, no, she was
34.
She was a little bit bigger than her picture. She wasn't overweight or anything, but she was really skinny in her picture. It was obvious the picture was 5 years old. So anyway, for whatever reason, so we didn't have much to date. But the second time we met, she came to my place, and we played some video games or whatever. We really didn't do anything because she literally came over to my place at 11:45 at night because she was working till 11.
She bring you a cheeseburger?
I'm not a player. I was still new to dating or whatever, but I was a guy. And the thing I remember most was she came over or whatever. Now, here's a woman who's coming over. She was early 20s, I guess. She's coming over to some guy's house at 11:45 at night. There's certain red alarms that I think.
Yeah, but John, this was the 1980s or 90s. How old you are? This was okay back then.
Yeah. But this was 2001. And so she's coming over, whatever. So she's got to have in her mind, this is not a situation to be in or whatever, or there might be some romance or something going on. Mm-hmm. But I can tell you there was no romance going on. I barely knew her or whatever. And she was definitely making moves on me, which is weird because it usually doesn't go that way.
She just wanted a good fuck.
There was, yes, she literally, she wanted to have sex.
And you wanted to play Pac-Man.
I was, no, in general, I did too, but like, I had felt the vibes, and like, this was like, I knew even then, like, this is not a relationship or anything I want to get involved with. Like, right, what do they say? Like, don't stick your dick in crazy, right? Like, that was the sense that I had. And it's funny because, you know, days, weeks after that, and eventually it was like she left, and then it was like, oh yeah, it was right before New Year's. She got like wicked drunk the day before New Year's Eve, like December 30th. And during the day, and I was just like, whoa, and I never saw her again because I was like, that was a huge like red flag. But in the weeks and days and weeks where I was running dry, Drew, you know, I was like, why didn't we just have sex? Like, we should have just had sex. Like what was I worried about? Like we were gonna get married right after the sex. Like, you know,
it's easier to say that afterwards, right?
It really. I made the right decision. I think that would have been trouble.
It's like, oh, why didn't I rob that bank when I was poor? Because it's not the right fucking thing to do at the time, John.
But you can get arrested. You can go to jail for a long time. This is just
girl could have been 17 for all you know.
Oh, she was not 17 years old.
She was very mature.
No, but I do regret that. I think that would have been fun. Like, I feel like, oh, that was an opportunity missed, you know? So I would put that up there as a regret. If a woman's throwing herself at you and she's not drunk, go for it, man.
Yeah. I mean, wear protection, do the right thing. And
the more you know.
That's it. Yeah.
What about you, Drew?
I mean, how long have we been on this podcast for? We got time limits to contain. But I mean, yeah, I would like to say I was a relationship guy. And I said that would be my biggest regret, where I was in too many long-term relationships. And I'm telling you, like, all the way back to like 7th and 8th grade type shit, where I would have relationships for like years, which I'm like, fuck me. You know, I'm talking about.
We've been dating since 7th grade, and now you're dumping me in 10th.
Like I had probably over the span of, 12 years, like 3 real girlfriends, because they each were like 3 to 4 year relationships. I mean, I'm talking about back to like dry humping behind the neighbor's couch in 8th grade, and that's a story for another day. But my point is
Ryan,
you got to take advantage of those times between the relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's when you can have some fun. But yeah, I can't tell you too many stories that I'd like to tell you right now, because does my wife listen to this? No. But I also don't want her to get her hands on it and be blackmailed at some point by all of you asshole listeners, which I know you might do. So I think
pretty much you're going to get blackmailed for saying that you could be blackmailed. I think you've already went off that cliff now, Drew.
No, there's not.
So just tell your story.
There's no story. There's no story to tell besides live your best moment, like you said, John. Take advantage of those times when you're in between relationships to get the shit done. I'll leave it at that. That's my advice.
For a couple of guys that do an after dark podcast, we're pretty good, sensible guys.
I would say that's pretty accurate. Yeah, I mean, I'm not telling you I'm out there, making anal on the weekends behind my wife's back or anything. But I mean, that's
my
not...
wife's back? Is that what you just said?
I mean, that's not what I'm doing. That's not what I'm doing.
Isn't that usually how anal is done?
Oh boy. Well, I think it's. I mean, I got nothing else. I'm good here. Let's move on.
Number 5.
Monster Hunter the movie. A movie trailer that got released over the last week or so. Looks pretty intense. I think whether you're a video game, let me rephrase that. If you like Monster Hunter the video game or not, I think this is still something that you might enjoy and want to look into. It had that very just big time Michael Bay monsters type reaction, right? I mean, is that how you were trying to first?
Yeah. Oh, the trailer has all of the hallmarks with the sound stuttering and the big horns and all that stuff.
I'm afraid the trailer probably had all the good scenes in it, though.
Probably.
You probably saw every monster, all the big scenes. What's her name? Mila or whatever. Jovovich, the girl that played all the Resident Evil movies. Hellboy, she was in that. Yeah, so I mean, she's the main character there. It looks good. Looks good. I mean, as a video game movie, we don't get a ton of those, and when we do, they're kind of shit. So this one is going to be one of those probably like C+ movies would be my guess. That
I don't know if I agree.
You think it'll be a big hit?
I don't think. Well,
it's a fun movie. It's not gonna be a good movie. It's a fun movie.
It's like Sonic, right? Like Sonic was a fine enough movie. It wasn't a good movie.
It was better than I expected.
It definitely had some good comedic bits to it, which made it better. But the movie overall was like, a formulaic kind of bland storyline, predictable in every way. This will probably be the same thing. And like you said, like they would show the monsters come out of the sand, and it's like in between is probably 30 minutes of them on computers and talking about monsters.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really curious because like the problem with video game movies is that the Monster Hunter itself is about fighting monsters, getting materials, crafting, and all that sort of thing. That's not really going to be in this movie. This is like a Godzilla movie. Look at these monsters, and they're in tanks and jeeps with guns, and it's like none of that. I mean, technically there's guns in Monster Hunter, but it's just you running across the landscape fighting monsters. So it's going to be very, very loosely based on the video game. I'll tell you that much.
It's sort of like the Rampage movie, where they brought rampages into today's world in the city.
I haven't seen that movie yet. I totally forgot I was going to watch that.
Is The Rock in that?
I think I want to watch that for the dumb idiocy of it. But yes, this is going to be Rampage.
That's your homework. Go watch Rampage. I can't say I've watched all of it, but I've seen parts of it. All right. And so Monster Hunter Rise, the video game, comes out March 26th, right, John? And actually, I don't even know when the hell this movie comes out. I probably should have had that, but who knows? Trailer's out.
I'm going to dive into Monster Hunter Rise, so maybe I will be interested in the movie. Without even looking it up. I'm going to jump into, I've dabbled with Monster Hunter. I've started and stopped multiple times. I'm just going to jump into Monster Hunter Rise. I like the way it looks. I'm just going to force myself in and try to finish my first Monster Hunter game. So I might be interested in the movie.
So you're going to force yourself in unlike you did with Christy, that chick.
Exactly, yes. I'm gonna give it a go. So maybe I will be into it.
All right, so the movie I did just look it up comes up December 30th of this year, so you'll be able to.
No, really?
Yeah, so it's ready to go.
Are they gonna put that in theaters or is it gonna go streaming? Because that's, the look of that movie tells me summer like 2021.
Well, it's December 30th. It's in a couple weeks.
Nobody's going to theaters, especially now. I mean, I'd be shocked if theaters were open on Christmas. Forget that.
I mean, I don't think this movie was making a lot of money in the box office anyway. Let's be honest.
Nobody's gonna make. Did you see Tenet? It's coming out on streaming and Blu-ray December 15th. That is the movie to watch.
You didn't see it, did you?
I went to the theater to see it with like one other human being in the theater.
Did you wear a mask in the theater?
Yeah. Oh no, I took mine off. My wife did wear hers. It's the only movie we watched during this entire time because I'm a huge Chris Nolan fan. But yeah, make sure you watch that one. That's why I asked, is it going to go straight to stream? Because it's not going to make any money in the theaters. There's no way theaters are going to be open right now. We've got like 200,000 cases a day. Forget it. So
I hear you. So
push it to
Hunter, summer. The movie comes out December 30th.
Good luck.
Number 4.
Game & Watch. It is finally here.
It's here.
How long did we stress about pre-ordering this thing? And the pre-orders opened up like the day before on Nintendo, of which I don't know anybody who actually got it through Nintendo.
And who saved you?
And Drew saved me.
Of all people.
I guess it went up for pre-order on Best Buy right after midnight, but because of the way they did it, they didn't sell all of them in one shot. They just kind of slow dripped it.
Genius. Genius.
You texted me, I think about 4 a.m, because you're 2 hours ahead of me. So it was like 4 a.m. for me. And yeah, I got the pre-order in.
I think Zad's words were, John, when you get up to take a piss and you're reading this, make sure you go to bestbuy.com and pre-order your Game & Watch. Because we are old men and we pee in the middle of the night.
You gotta pee. I'm really glad that I didn't pre-order it on Nintendo. I tried, because then you'd have to wait like a week for it to show up. So
I got it that day, Friday.
Yeah. So what do you think of it?
I think it's smooth. I think it feels good. It's definitely light. I wish they added a little weight to it, but that's okay. It's colorful. It's fun to use. It's the sound is quality. It's great. The little display clock, I have it on my desk. I do wish it didn't come with like a stand.
Yeah, I thought it would come with a stand too.
It needs to stand up somehow. I still haven't found. I gotta get something to put it up on. You almost need one of those little phone holders. But how does it not come out with like a 3-cent plastic little piece to stand it on? I mean, literally, it would have been pennies for them to make.
That would have been really nice. I wanted to hook it up to my wall too, but I understand. Like I think a stand would have been great. I also missed it doesn't have an alarm clock. I was actually going to use this as my alarm clock.
I didn't
with a Mario sound to it or whatever. It's just a clock. There's no alarm to it. So I bet you somebody's making 3D printed stands for it somewhere. So you know what? I might be in on one.
Well, if you find one, let me know. Grab 2. I sneakily saw my wife playing it the other day. She was playing the original Mario game, and I did not play the original Mario game because I played about Mario 1-1 about 9,000 times in the last 2 months from Mario 35. So I did play the lost levels and the stupid ball juggling game, which can eat shit. That game blows. I'll never play that game again. I'll tell you that.
You lose that game out of boredom, not because you lost.
Exactly. So God bless everyone that got it over 100, because I don't think they made it past 50 and said, this game sucks, I'm turning it off.
We were at my brother-in-law's house, and he played. I brought my console over, the Game & Watch. And he played ball. He's like, what is this? And it's like, it's ball and whatever. So he played through a game until he died. And then he gave it back to me. And he goes, I have the record now. And I was like, oh, great. You beat my son's record or whatever. And then my daughter played and then broke his record. And I go, okay, Andy, you want to try to break your record again? And he's like, no.
Yeah.
I don't want to play that game again.
Yeah, so I mean, overall, it's great. $50. Like I said, it's a cool little clock. If anything, I just really wish it had a stand.
Yeah. Are you gonna try to play through Lost Levels? Because that's my goal.
I've been trying. It's hard.
Playing. Yeah, it's really
hard. I
hard.
made it to World 3. I mean, I didn't put a ton of time into it. I think I made it to World 3, and then I eventually just stopped playing for a little bit.
I don't know if there's like a warp pipes in there or whatever. I might.
I tried not to even go for the warps.
Yeah, but my God, I mean, how do you get through 32 levels?
Well, I did it once, but I used the rewind feature on. I wanted. I mean, obviously, we can't do that.
Yeah, you can't do that here.
I don't know if I'll ever beat that game without rewind.
Oh. Yeah, it's fun. I like it. I really liked it. It's a cute little thing, and only $50. I remember when they first announced it, it was like I thought it was going to be like $150. But yeah, no, definitely $50. Definitely worth it.
Number 3.
Boobies. Boobies.
Booby time.
That is what number 3 is all about, folks. Because only at the Dads After Dark channel. If you guys are not on Discord, let me tell you a short little story. It all started when our good friend there, Jay, Hot Rod Anonymous, whatever the hell his username is, posted a picture of him and his family watching the Christmas Chronicles. And about 3 hours later, it went from a family Christmas movie to 41 GIFs, 41 photos of naked and half-naked women bouncing their boobies on our Discord channel. Yes, folks, that is right.
42.
So what happened was he posted the picture, and I said, oh, that's a good movie. I actually really like Noelle. the Disney Plus movie. That went back and forth a little bit about which one was better. And then I said, well, I'm biased because Anna Kendrick is God's gift to all of us men in the world today. And then I posted a couple GIFs of Anna Kendrick, and that just led to everybody's, favorite girl out there, celebrity crush.
I was surprised at how some people didn't like Anna Kendrick, especially Jay. I mean, she is just perfect.
Like, I want to have a relationship with her.
You want to have a relationship. You want to play video games with her. You want to do anal behind her back.
Yeah. Would you divorce your wife for her?
No.
Okay. Side piece.
Is she listening? No.
Yes, you would. Yes, who wouldn't? I mean, that's the better answer.
You would divorce your wife and throw your kids into purgatory for Anna Kendrick?
What do they call that? A throuple? Is that I'd offer that first.
You can offer that.
I'd offer a throuple and see if
I think there would be some pressure too, because you're like, he's offering a throuple with Anna Kendrick. I should probably take this because if I don't take this, then we're going to be separating.
Listen,
and Anna Kendrick, I mean, I'm sure women love Anna Kendrick too.
Why wouldn't you? I mean, yeah. I mean, you tell the kids in a second, mommy, and that mommy is now Santa Claus because they've all seen Noel. Spoiler alert! It's an obvious.
I haven't seen. Yeah.
So I mean, she's Santa's daughter. That's the movie. Anyway, so that's the kind of shit that goes on in our Discord. If you're not part of the show, Christmas turns into boobies.
Whoa. We need to talk about what the best boobies were.
Oh yeah, we can talk about that. I mean, refresh me. What was your best?
I am gonna go, and most of these gifts were just like the ones right in Discord, but I mean, Lindsay Lohan. I can't get over that gift.
I watched that jiggle quite a bit. I couldn't stop watching it.
Yeah.
Yep. And then I would scroll down, and I'd find myself scrolling right back up. I just I time to time actually go back and look at them all again.
It's funny. The Katy Perry one is so weird.
Yeah,
we all know Katy Perry, but they really the thing that fascinates me is she's jumping up and down in the Elmo shirt, and this is on SNL.
Yeah.
But they really tightened her shirt or bra or whatever. It's it's a very tight because it's SNL, and they had to calm down a little bit because it's that's not what I would expect from Katy Perry. But it's funny to see that one really is a bit censored in a way. But yeah, and of course Megan Fox, who I think was the biggest motive. I mean, they put her in Transformers, and she was a virtual unknown.
Yep.
And she kind of tore up Transformers.
Now she's an unknown again.
Yeah, she kind of went away.
That's how I would do it. If I ever got super famous and made millions of dollars, I would do it for 2-3 years tops and then disappear.
How much money do you think she made though? Probably not
Millions.
Probably not in the first Transformers, but maybe the second. I think she did the second and the third, or just the second.
Net worth.
They kicked her out, but yeah.
She has a net worth of $8 million. How much more do you need? I mean, it's not a shit ton compared to other people, but that's fine.
Gotta think she's getting a lot of royalties from those movies too. What did you think about Selma Hayek? Because she's how old is Selma Hayek now?
I don't know.
But I mean, we were sharing obviously, maybe gifts from 10, 20 years ago or so.
Which is crazy.
But she's impressive. She's 54 now.
Huh.
Wow. Yeah, Selma's impressive.
So that's the stuff you're missing out on, folks.
Missing out.
You never know.
Brie Larson. I mean, Allison Brie. Lots of Brie going on. Emily Blunt. Emma Watson. That's always a good gift.
Are you looking at them right now?
Of course.
Good for you. I should be doing that. Where's that Lindsay Lohan one?
Drew Barrymore had a good one. Tina Fey. And it was somebody was into redheads and kept posting redheads. I don't know who they are, but yeah.
That was Jay.
Yeah. I still think of all the girls though. Anna Kendrick, she's just adorable.
That is true.
I want to be her friend.
Me too. Who doesn't? I mean, yeah, I just want to.
So join us in the Dads After Dark show.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's gotten very after dark the last week.
So that is boobies.
Number 2.
So what does everybody think about our new show format? I really like it, Drew. It's a top 10. We'll talk about anything. We've taken questions. We even dragged in people on the show. We talked to Dan.
We did. I like that.
So
I like that little format.
I like this format. We want to hear your feedback. Tweet us. Whatever you want to do. Let us know what you think. And the voice that you've been hearing doing the countdown is, it's not my wife or anybody like that.
You wish.
It is a professional. Her name is Sadie. And we hired her to do various speech for us for the show.
That sounds well, there was
we
a few
paid
things
her for services. And but no, she was great. And she read our scripts. And, you'll hear more from her later.
Let's just say, if we did reference back to question number 6, this was one of John's regrets that he let it go. He had the opportunity to really have Sadie do some naughty, dirty things. And honestly, I can't for sure tell you he did it, but I'm going to go ahead and just hopefully say she only recorded what we asked. But John may have a little recording out there that I'm not aware of Sadie saying something.
I know. I'll just secretly write her every few days and say, could you say this? It's funny because when you are, I've never done that before. I mean, you're in the movie biz, but I've never had to direct somebody where you give them dialogue to read and you actually have to tell them how to read it. So, they were like, be clear how you want me to read this. Do you want me to read it flirty? Do you want me to read it softly? How do you want me to read it? And I'm like, the natural British accent, I've made my Siri voice a British lady. I just love the British accent. It gets to me. So it's funny that you and I sort of settled on that. I think I might have suggested it early, but you were the one that found Sadie. And then when we gave her the script, we were like, all right, say this line flirty or whatever. But she actually said more lines flirty than I even specified. I think she got the clue that we really like.
That we were really dirty old men. We were dirty old men, and we wanted you to say shit like this. Oh boy. Good old Sadie. We love you. We love you. We want to say thank you.
We miss you, Sadie. We'll definitely be going back to Sadie with more services in the future.
Whatever that means.
And number 1.
Number 1 topic is here, folks, and it's no other, because we've gone the whole episode just saying, guys, what the hell's going on with Monthly Mayhem? Well, that's why we're here, because it is number 1. Is the most important thing that we need to talk about this week, because we have a new game announcement that's going to run from right now all the way through January 3rd. John, play the clip.
The history of the royal family of Hyrule is also the history of Calamity Ganon, a primal evil that has endured over the ages.
I think you are now ready. Ready to hear what happened 100 years ago.
Oh my.
Right, folks. That's it. I mean, are you surprised? Probably not.
But a Calamity.
Age of Calamity it is, folks. I mean, we're all playing Hyrule Warriors. We talked about it. We're here. And I think we need to right down to what we're doing, because you can't just play this game and say, oh, whoever kills the most enemies. No, folks. We're bringing it back. You need to go for a hunt. You need to go for searching. You need to go looking for those favorite Korok seeds. Oh, yes. Whoever can come home with the most Korok seeds will be crowned the December Monthly Mayhem game winner, and you will have a prize of the $15 eShop credit.
This is sadistic. This is maybe our most sadistic one.
Listen, all I'm going to say, I'm not going to tell you, I'm not a spoiler guy. there's more than 100, and there's less than 1,000. How about we say that? Somewhere in between there. But folks, you're saying to yourself, "Oh, come on, Drew. Come on, John. I'm not buying that game. How do I play? How do I win?" Well, we didn't forget about you, because this month we're also bringing back our retro playing game of the month. And John, why don't you tell us a little bit about that one?
Yeah, so we're gonna, we're playing the new Age of Calamity, but we're gonna go back to the original Legend of Zelda. It's available on Nintendo Switch Online. You can play it for free, but you can play it anywhere you want if you want to play it on your Classic or anywhere else. And it's going to be a heart hunt. We encourage you to go and beat the game, but we encourage you to go find hearts. And every heart that you find, we will award you 2 points. Now, as usual, Drew, this is not going to win you the contest, right?
No.
But this allows you to get in on the lotto. So this is just a great way to play a classic game. I might play Zelda anyway. I haven't played it in so long. And if you start up the game, Drew, you get 3 hearts to start. So there you go.
No brainer. That's 6 lottery balls. I mean, why not just start up the game? It's free. It's on your console.
Yeah.
And submit a picture to us.
Yeah.
What happened last month, John? I believe the person with the least lottery balls won.
Yeah, the person with the least balls took it home.
It just goes to show. I mean, anybody can win.
And you're playing Legend of Zelda, so you win right there. So yeah, if you don't want to get involved in the Hyrule Warriors. So pretty easy contest. It's a Korok hunt, and it's a heart hunt. And that's it. Yeah. Pretty simple.
And for your submissions, as far as Age of Calamity goes, your Korok seeds can be found inside your inventory. Took me a while to find these.
Why was that hard, Drew? You were having so much trouble.
I thought there
inventory.
Was... So there's the place where you can go to records, and it tells you like how many people you killed, how many kilometers you've ran, how many knockouts you've had. It had all these things. I'm like, oh yeah, that's how many seeds I found. No, the only thing that makes me concerned is, again, I don't know. I'm only through 3 chapters. Is if you have to spend them on something and then they go away. If that happens, we could be in some big doo-doo, but we'll figure it out. I'm sure we'll show you how many of you spent or collected. We'll figure it out, folks. So take a screenshot of your inventory of how many seeds you have. And then as far as Legend of Zelda, just take a picture. I mean, I think they show your hearts on pretty much every screen. So you do your save file, you can do your game file, whatever you want. We'll see it. But Long Thing of Mayhem is going to go all the way to January 3rd. That's another show we'll be recording. So, John, what do we say by noon Eastern time? We want them submitted?
Noon Eastern time. Yep, that way we can get everybody, we can get the scoring done and announce the winners right away on our show.
Yep, and you will see the graphic will be out when you listen to this over in our Discord channel, so you can remind us all, and we'll talk about it. Talk about the game there. It'll be fun. But that is the new format. That is our top 10 of the last 2 weeks. And John, what do we have happening over the next few weeks?
We've got an interesting couple weeks. First time a book has appeared on our list. Ready Player 2, the sequel to Ready Player 1, comes out Tuesday. We are 2 days away, November 24th. I am so excited. I didn't pre-order it. I'm just going to go to my local Barnes & Noble, and I'm hoping that there's a paperback. I don't think the paperback comes out right away. That's why the price was so high. But and I'm taking Wednesday off, and I might be reading all day. I don't think I want to wait and possibly have this story spoiled. I'll tell you, Ready Player One is also my second favorite book of all time. So I am psyched up and ready. Can't wait. That's November 24th. P-Cross S5, Jesse, are you listening? November 26th comes out. P-Cross fans. I actually really enjoy P-Cross, but I don't know if I can ever play.
I don't know. I've seen videos. I just don't get it. I don't even want to try.
December 3rd. We talked about this earlier. Phoenix Rising from Ubisoft. It's coming out. We're going to see what those reviews look like. But and I think it's coming off. It's cross-platform. So this is going to be an exciting one. And that same day, the original Fire Emblem is coming out. There is a collector's edition. There is no physical release, though. The collector's edition is just swag. But it's only $6 on eShop. So if you can't get the collector's edition, $6. And I'm super excited for that one. So that's it. We got a pretty power-packed 2 weeks. Very exciting 2 weeks.
Awesome. That's exciting. I'm excited for Phoenix. Definitely be keeping an eye out for all that other stuff. And hey, like I said, if you guys have a game you want me to play, I might need one for December. So that's it by me. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. John, any last words?
Catch you guys later.
See ya.
Bye, Dads.
The Dads After Dark show is a part of the Nintendo Dads family of podcasts. You can subscribe to us anywhere podcasts are available, including iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and Stitcher. Be sure to join us on the Nintendo Dads Discord in the Dads After Dark show channel for some naughty After Dark talk. Follow us on Twitter @NDadsAfterDark. Ask us a question, and we may answer it on the show. That's all for tonight. Good night, Dads. Sweet dreams.